Hi everyone, I recently found a 2015 Giant Anthem on a giant sale, and I caved into the N+1 temptation, so here's a quick look at it. These are cross-country bikes or trail bikes. This particular model is an aluminum frame, as you can see it here. Is the 3 version, or the cheapest one they offer. It's a small. If you look down here, I don't know if you can see, this is made in Taiwan. Frame is actually pretty modern, and if you look at all the welding points here, that's one of the things that they're bragging about, being done very well, very carefully. They got rid of the overdrive 2, which had a different steerer dimensions. This one is just a standard tapered 1.5 to 1.18 inch. Head tube is at 69.5 degrees, and looking at the chainstays, they are shortish. They are 432 millimeters, so they're not bad, but not the shortest you can find in today's world. Other things worth mentioning about the frame is that it uses the, if you can see it here, this is Maestro floating point. Maestro floating point, which is very well behaved, and a lot of people like it a lot. This is a standard Giant Anthem, so it has 100 millimeter travel in the back, 100 millimeter up front. They also have an SX version that comes with 120 millimeter front travel. The cockpit is built up with a lot of Giant branded components. You can see here Giant Connect, and there's Giant Connect bars, Giant Connect stem. These bars are 700 millimeter wide. The grips are pretty nice, and the lock-on grips, I like that. This has a bit of rise to it. Don't know how much, probably about 15 millimeter, no more than that. The stem is quite long, is 80 millimeter long. I would probably replace that, one of the first things to do. And also, if you look here at the handlebars, you see the brakes. These are Shimano M396, and the displays for the Deore shifters. This is a 2x10, so this is the shifter, the front shifter, and obviously you have here the rear shifter with its display. FSA headset, even though it's branded Giant over there, is made by FSA, as you can see. And coming down, let's take a quick look at the fork. This is a Recon Gold 32 millimeter stanchions, which is great. See the airport over here. A bit more details about the fork on this side, and it is solo air, 100 millimeter, or set to a 100 millimeter travel right now. And coming down, you're going to get this solo air spring guide, which is usually a bit high based on my experience. Also, going to the other side, you're going to have here the compression damping that has a lockout as well, so that would be the lockout all the way. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 points of adjustment. And obviously, going down all the way here, you're gonna get your rebound for your fork with the little red knob, as you can see it here. Giant Connect branded seat post as well. This is 375 millimeters long, and you can see it's a 30.9 millimeter, and has quite a bit of offset here, about 2 centimeters or 20 millimeters, I think. Anyway, and it uses one single bolt here at the bottom to secure the saddle, which is Giant Connect as well. Nicely shaped, if anything a bit soft, which I'm not sure I'm used to that, but I'm not going to be the one using this bike anyway. Okay, making our way to the rear shock, you can see the internally routed everything, and these would be attachment points if you have a dropper post. You have room for a bottle in the front triangle, which is great. And yeah, here's the rear shock. This is the simpler Monarch R, you can see it there. And the only difference from the other ones is that it doesn't have anything but a rebound adjustment here, so you don't have a lockout or prop pedal or anything like that. One last thing about the fork, it comes with the Rockshox 15mm through axle, so that's pretty nice to stiffen up the front. Alright, let's move on to the wheels. Wheels are Giant branded SXC2. These are 27.5 19mm internal rims, built with 32 spokes and Giant branded hubs. Now, one good thing about the hubs is the front comes with 15mm, the rear comes with the QR, but it can be converted to 12mm. That's a good thing. What I'm not crazy about is the fact that these wheels are heavy. I measured the front is about 940 grams. The rear wheel is about 1240. So you have almost 2200 grams of wheels on this bike, which is quite heavy. The free hub has only 16 points of engagement, which is kind of old style. Tires are Maxxis branded, and unfortunately they're wire bead tires, and you can see them here, cross marks 2.1. I measured them, they measure about 2.0. There's pretty nice profile tire. I think for cross country, or definitely for rear tire, they can be very interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna keep them or not, but this wire bead version of them is quite heavy. One comes up to about 710 grams, the other one is about 670. And the other thing is, what they installed in here is Maxxis tubes that are about 190 grams each. Ouch. So that's heavy wheels, heavy tires, heavy tubes. That's definitely one thing that has to be changed on this bike. I talked briefly about the brakes earlier when I showed you the levers. These are M396, and the discs are RT56 Shimano's as well, 160 millimeters front and rear, and they are resin only, and they stop fine for just around the block and simple trail use. They're okay. I think they will go in my case. Rear brake uses the same disc as I mentioned, the Shimano RT56, which is resin only. Also here you can see the DT Swiss branded QR. This is QR. You can buy a 142 by 12 upgrade kit that comes together with the frame dropouts and the rally hanger. So it's about 120 Canadian dollar. The upgrade kit that includes the end cups for the hub. And the other thing that I have not mentioned here, or I couldn't see it before, is you see the internally routed dropper post hole right here. And yeah, if you decide to put a dropper on this one, it's well worth it. You would run the cable this way. You can see the other attachment points here for your cable. I also mentioned earlier that the bike comes with a Deore drivetrain. You can see here the 2x10. So it's Deore front derailleur, 38-24 crankset, 170 millimeter long cranks, pedals. Of course, these are resin. They put them on just to give you something. KMC 10-speed chain with quick connect, which is here somewhere. And going to the back, you have Deore HG50 cassette, which is kind of heavy but otherwise very functional. And you have also a Deore rear derailleur, rear Mac. It's a long cage one, and you can see here the clutch. So the drivetrain is very functional. There's definitely nothing fancy, but it would be something that would work just fine. Straight out of the box in this cheapest configuration, the bike weighs 12.3 kilograms, which is just over 29 pounds. That is with the resin pedals that weigh about 300 grams. And as I mentioned earlier, you can lighten it up quickly by replacing the tires and probably converting tubeless if nothing else. Looking at the bottom bracket height here, what is that, about 31 centimeters or a foot and a tiny bit. Sitting on a bike with 30% sag, that that is the bottom bracket drop that you see there. I have at least one bike in my garage that has a lower bottom bracket than this. This bike is pretty. I mean, the paint job is great, and the colors are vivid, really nicely detailed. I really like that. As for riding, this is too small for me. Is for my wife, but I did take it for a spin around the block, and the one thing that I noticed right away is that is very well balanced. It steers very well, and seems to be quite playful, even though it has that 80mm stem. Great bike. I'm pretty excited about it. I will probably do a few upgrades to it in the near future. First time I service the forks, I will probably try and get it to 120mm. And overall, if you find a bike like this on closeout or clearance prices, I think is well worth it. And that's all I have, folks. I hope you found this useful. Have any comments, let me know below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.